But for now, for time's sake, because there's a bunch of stuff I want to make sure that we cover, I'm going to plow and show you some resources here. So 3 things, 3 fundamentals. I'm all about playing. I'm all about getting kids on their feet, and then I'm about connecting them to that language. So everything I'm going to share with you is very language and play kind of related as we do this. Okay. And if you have any questions or epiphanies, you'll notice that Leslie, she knew. She jumped in and she said, "Hey, I just have to share this." And I love that type of interaction. So feel free to say, "This is like something I did in my class," or "What do you do when a kid does this to you?" or "This reminds me of this." Mate, just because I'm plowing doesn't mean you can't stop me. Okay, so let me jump into, I'm going to open my share tray. There it is. And I'm going to go here. I'm going to click on this, and hopefully you're going to see that. I would like to control this. Grant access. Do you see it? Nope, not yet.
Yes, now we do.
Now, can you see that there?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, this is better than Zoom because I can still see you and you can still see it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, fantastic. Can you see me as well? Yeah.
Yes.
Brilliant. I might use Teams again.
Yes, you're in a little box at the in the bottom row. There's now the main screen has your image. Explore the 2021 season. Well, your whole screen, your whole computer screen is in the main part of the screen, and then we're all in little boxes at the bottom.
Okay, fantastic. So I may stop sharing screen if I want to. What's nice is I can look at your faces and I can still probably play with you this way. So this is our website. All of this stuff is online. You can find all of this. I love when I teach classes that you can just take it home and implement it and do whatever you want. So this is found at bard.org. Isn't that cool that back when the internet was invented that one of our founders said, we should be bard.org. So you don't have to type in Utah Shakespeare Festival. So just go to bard.org. Then after that, you'll go to education. This is our education link, okay? If you go down to education and you go to educator resources, see that? I'm going to click on that, and it's going to open right up. Everybody there? Okay. And can you still read that? Don't do that. There. Can you still read that? Yep. Mm-hmm. Okay, good. So this, we have a whole bunch of resources that I'm going to show you later on. All of these are free. The only, the reason why we put this into educator resources is COVID happened, and they weren't easy for people to find. And so we said, let's just throw this up here. So here's a whole bunch of lesson plans, everything you'd want to do for the next year with a whole bunch of lesson plan resources in here. And I'm going to be plowing through all of these resources as we walk through them, okay? Just to navigate and show you what we've got here, I have 5 lessons for Who is Hamlet. They can be hour-long lessons, or if you're like me, they could be a week, one lesson, and I'll show you, we're going to get into that. Shakespeare performance, the plays the thing. This is what I'm going to be covering shortly as we go. A little further on down, we have a number of tech theater resources here, which Megan, I think you and yours will love each of these. Everything from scenic painting, stage management, Foley, etc., with activities designed in them. We'll get into that in a minute. Here we have video resources. When COVID hit, I had a whole bunch of actors and they were stuck in apartments, and we said, we will continue to honor your contracts. Can you guys help me create some workshops here? And they said, yeah. And so we put together all of these kind of videos and how to play these games. So these are all theater games. I'm going to click on this one so you can see what this is like. And it's loading up. Computer's thinking. Oh, come on. There it is. Can you see that? Yes? Mm-hmm. In the spin, hopefully when it starts. I'm not going to watch all of these. I'm amazed it's taking so long. I must be making the computer. There's our outdoor theater. And here it comes.
Today we're going to be playing a game called Purse, which is a rhythm game, a musical game. So if I can get everybody just get this beat going. Let's go a little bit slower. Yeah, I like that. Wonderful, wonderful. Can you guys repeat after me? Repeat. Purse. Purse. In my purse. I'm going to put it in my purse. 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 In my purse. I'm going to put it in my purse. Wonderful. Now can you repeat this after me and just say it all together? I'm going to put a blank in my purse. I'm going to put a blank in my purse. I'm going to put a blank in my purse. I'm going to put a blank in my purse. Wonderful. That's the rhythm. It's a rhyming game. So when I said blank, that is the word you want to rhyme with. So for example, let's go around the circle. I'm going to put something in my purse. I'm going to put a hat in my purse.
I'm going to put a cat in my purse. I'm going to put a hat in my purse. I'm going to put a mat in my purse. I'm going to write a tat in my purse. I'm going to have a tat in my purse.
I'm going to put my friend hat in my purse. I'm going to put a bat in my purse.
I'm going to...
So, if any of us screw up, because this is a silly, silly fun game, if any of us screw up at any point, we don't really care. If somebody screws up, just go, purse, and we start over with the person that screwed up.
So that is an example of those exercises. And Megan, Sarah, you can see yourself playing that game. You can see it doing that. So each of these are instruction videos that talk about how to play them. One of them is very long. This is a great theater game, Late for Work, and they play it for about 15 or 20 minutes. We should have taught it in a much shorter period of time, but there's a number of different things. There's also other exercises over here, how viewpoints work, Shakespeare punctuation. So there's a number of different videos that you have access to as well. I may, as we continue teaching, jump in and out, but this is something you can cruise through. So, hey, you're stumped in the morning? Probably not in the morning, probably a week before you have to lesson plan. None of us go into a class, planning the morning of, right? So, man, I need some type of exercise. You can pop in and there's some theater games that you can get into, and we want you to get the students on their feet doing it. We also have a number of technical theater videos that we put together and how to do each of those things as well. And I'm going to get into this stuff a little later on back here. And I'm also going to talk about this too. Oh, what the heck. Let me talk about it right now. Okay. This is a Shakespeare Scenes database. It grows every day. This is a list of Shakespeare scenes. Now you've got the complete canon, right? You've got the complete canon to work with, but I'm looking for a scene from Midsummer Night's Dream. Here is a number. We've got like 120 plus scenes that you can use. I'm trying to get this out of the way so I can scroll. You can search. Let's see what scenes from Romeo and Juliet we have. Okay, so got a search engine there. Okay, so I've got the death of Tybalt. It has this many lines in it. It has this many characters in it. And you'll notice that I actually have Death of Tybalt 2, Death of Tybalt 1. Why do I have that? Because I need more characters in some scenes than other. I click on this right here. When I come over to this little area, there it comes. Come on, computer. And you've got the scene here, and it tells what the line breakdown is so that you can use it and include it and work with it with your students. Okay, cool. And there it is, all cut for you. You can read through and say, does that scene work for me? Yeah, I think that scene works for me. But let me go back to Shakespeare Scenes database. We do a lot of Shakespeare here. We work with a lot of youth groups here. And I started saying, why are these just buried in my computer? Wouldn't it be, oh, they keep showing up. There we are. So 12th night, et cetera, you can work through this. We also have complete 75-minute versions of plays. So Sarah, if you want to put together a play, our touring productions that I was explaining about, let's say you want to do a Midsummer Night's Dream. Let's see. Yeah, it sometimes gets picky because of that. But here's all these different scenes of A Midsummer Night's Dream, Hermia. There it is. Here we have the full play from the 2017 touring production, the 75-minute cut. Here we have the full play from the 2012 production. And so what you'll find when you go there is the whole script cut for our 75-minute production. I think it probably turns into like a 90-minute production when you have people working with it. And there's the whole script for you that you can use. Cool resource. Yeah.
Hey, Michael.
Side note on that resource, Carmen,
Yes.
do you want to say something?
Well, I was just going to say, Emily, take it. I just
Go
read
ahead.
through that. I just read through that script with our. Um, we have a student who's studying dramaturgy, and she's going to be the lead dramaturg for our production of Midsummer. Thank you, Michael, for allowing us to use your cut because it is so tight. It is so judiciously cut.
Yeah.
And it really is no more than it took us just an hour and 10 minutes to read through it, and that's without all the
Right.
the other additions. So yes, thank you.
And
Well, and
just to let everybody know, what Carmen is referring to is Alpha Psi at Jacksonville State University typically does a tour, school tour in the spring, because of limitations with field trips and school visitors and things like that. They are actually going to do community productions of A Midsummer Night's Dream, and they're using this script. It'll be the last week of April. And we'll have a lot of information coming on the Shakespeare Project page as soon as we have the cities all are buying in and wanting us to perform in their parks. And so we've just got to finalize the exact dates and times with those locations, and we'll announce it on the Shakespeare Project page.
so make sure you get that there too. I'm so Carmen, I'm so grateful that you grab that and use that. That's what it's there for. Intentionally, we're trying to create it as an acting tool. In other words, we want to make sure that IMs are in place. We want to make sure that if you're an English teacher and you're watching, that the death of Paris is in there, and you've got all of those type of things. There are times that you'll find a script and they go, wow, why did they invert that scene? But again, if you want to add something else to it, add something else. If you're missing lines that are on them, put them in. But I appreciate, I'm going to quote you, judiciously cut.
It really was. It really was. And of course, we will put Utah Shakes in, on the cover and credit you thoroughly. It will go into our study guide. We create a I don't want to take up your time though, Michael.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, well,
sorry.
no. That's
later.
That's fantastic. And I think these things actually help other people say, I can do that. And a lot of times people are afraid to start. And I said, no, just jump in. What I have in front of the screen.
You maintain the meter when you do these cuts?
We do.
Okay.
I'm
It drives me when people don't do that.
Yeah, I am very, very much, and it's because of the audience that I'm preparing them for. Not only the people that we're the Utah Shakespeare Festival, so we want to maintain that, but the actors, they use these texts for acting clues, as what Carmen alluded to before.
Yes.
So you've got to keep, and then we, I'll use Julius Caesar as an example. The guy who plays Brutus, he goes, I realize that we've got to cut this down. I wish we could have kept this scene in, but you got a really good cut here. Thank you. And then it becomes a negotiation. I noticed you cut this. Can I put these lines back in and keep this? And we kind of negotiate, through there too. And we haven't covered this yet. I'll see if I can get it into our workshops. Iambic pentameter is really important to me. Sometimes when you introduce it to students, it'll choke a horse. So for me, it's very much about milk before meat, or the appropriate way you put it there. But the minute you introduce iambic pentameter, Emily will tell you, I can't do a teaching session and not go crazy about it. So I'm going to give you a whole bunch of teaching tools, and I'm going to talk about how to teach iambic pentameter. But frequently, I get the kids in first. They start working with the verse. They start doing those things. And then I pull the iambic pentameter out. It's because I don't want kids to be frightened of it. I don't want them to be afraid of it. But the minute a well-trained kid, any kid finds out about it, they go, this is genius. And it's kind of what Devon was talking about. There is meter, it's there. So it's easy to go into. Let me show you another thing. I love teams, Emily. I usually have to cut this off so I can look in their faces. And I can now look in your faces while I'm looking at this. So see this full bilingual edition, a 75-minute cut script. I'm not sure what your Spanish or Hispanic population is out there. This never went out on the road. It was a dream I had. So some of the cast is English, some of the cast is Spanish. And the Spanish you're going to find, as the kids read it, they'll go, whoa, it's a higher form I'm not going to say old country, but it has an elevated, heightened language quality to it. I had a really great Hispanic translator who helped it with it. So some of it's not Spanglish, it's heightened Spanish as well. So there's another great resource for you too. And while I've been doing here, I see your eyes watching. We have multiple versions of the tomb. Why so many? Well, it depends on line count. It depends on the kids that I have. It depends on what we're doing. Bite your thumb. Do you bite your thumb? The opening of Romeo and Juliet, very popular, really great way to get kids involved with Shakespeare. You'll notice that I've got multiple versions, 5, 6. There's just multiple versions that we have of that, multiple Capulet parties. It's all in there. So great resource, use it. We want you to use it, and it changes monthly. And in fact, I have during COVID, we hired 2 people to input and format and put other scenes in there too. And those will be dropped in right around Shakespeare's birthday. We'll be dropping in about another 100+ scenes. This resource right here, I feel like I have to keep looking in your eyes. This resource for Shakespeare competition, students perform monologues, duo, trio scenes, etc. So this has a whole list of those scenes, a description of them, where they're found, etc. I'm going to give you some good news on that. Duo, trio scenes are the same way. Here is the list of the scenes, and you'll see how that works, okay? And then ensemble scenes. These are groups that you can use for ensembles. Here's the good news. By Shakespeare's birthday, every single one of those scenes, which are right now just words on a page, will be loaded into the Shakespeare Scenes database, which will be another like 800+ scenes that we're going to be putting in there. Okay, so all of that will be in there, and that's that. Any questions before I leave this resource world and jump into our very first lesson plan? Everybody cool? I love